All right, we are live. Here we are. I'm so excited to be with Seena. It's Seena Elbaum, correct?
Yeah.
I say doulas, we just know each other by our first names. And so I realize I don't always know how to pronounce people's last names. So I'm glad I got it. With Seena Elbaum in her home. So we're looking, maybe we'll have to spin this camera around before I leave so people can see all the beautiful artwork around us. But in your home where we're having some nice time chatting, I got to see her in-home studio where she works with people. You do yoga, but do you also do soul collage?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Well, you can tell us about soul collage and then we'll go back to a more general introduction because I'm wondering, do you use your studio space for that?
I do.
Okay, tell me about it.
So I use my studio space, my yoga studio space for soul collage if I want to have a big group. But I also use soul collage in my counseling sessions.
Okay.
If somebody is having a hard time accessing their words, I feel that the artistic expression might be a safer, more comfortable way for them to get at what they can't say, and it works.
Yeah.
So soul collage is a method of collage that was invented by a woman named Seena.
Oh, well, there you go.
Which is really interesting.
To be a soul
Yeah,
collager.
it's a little chilling.
Yeah.
Her middle initial is B, and my middle initial is Beth.
Okay.
Yeah, so Seena B. Frost was her name. She was a therapist and educator, and she used this method of collage to help people get to their voice, express what was hard to express, difficult to express in words. So I do it also.
Nice.
I do it for pleasure.
Yeah.
Also, just for fun.
Yeah.
So I have a deck of cards, and I need to do it more.
Yeah.
I would like to do it more. I'm busy.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that
Yeah.
I'm busy. My painting also.
Yeah.
I don't paint as much because I'm really busy.
Yeah. So let's talk about all these things you're busy doing. So I've said your name. I'm talking to you because you're a birth doula. That's how we know each other, is through birth doula work. And that's why I'm wanting to present you to the world, present you particularly to the people that I teach through my childbirth classes that are always looking for great doulas. And I'm always so happy when I've sent them, I tend to send people to the Philly Doula Co-op, and then they'll say, we hired Seena. And I say, wonderful. I'm jealous that you're going to have a baby with Seena because I just know they're going to be so well taken care of. But so let's talk, you do birth doula work.
I do birth doula work.
You are, tell me, what's your lineup? What's on the menu?
What's on the menu?
Yeah.
So I would say that the bulk of my work is my birth doula work. This year I branched out and I'm doing postpartum counseling. I am a licensed certified social worker, and I have a lot of postgraduate work, clinical certification training, and there's a tremendous need out there for support during the postpartum period, and like a little light bulb went off and said, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I decided to promote myself that way a little bit, and it's happening. And it's great work.
Yeah.
I have a yoga studio. I've been in yoga, I've been teaching yoga, working in yoga, practicing yoga since 1985, 1986. It's a long time. And I have a studio in my home, and I go to people's homes, and I teach small groups. I teach prenatal, and I only teach prenatal one-on-one though.
Okay.
Perhaps one day a group will come together, and I do like pelvic floor work after like 6 weeks. And then I have an office up on the 3rd floor of my house where I see women and couples for short-term counseling, up to, I would say, a year.
Okay.
Not long-term, years and years and years.
Right.
Yeah. That's the menu.
Yeah. So here, one thing from our conversation we were having before we let everyone else eavesdrop, and just in a couple of things you say, I sense how much you just really stay open to invite things to come to you. sort of like you put something out there, you give something a try, it grows, you grow with it. And that's one thing I love about you. There's nothing forceful. We did talk about how you're able to be very gentle and also be firm when it's needed.
Yes.
But there's nothing forceful about you with that, which I really appreciate. So tell me.
There actually is.
There is. What's forceful?
There is.
What do we have strong feelings about, Seena?
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
A lot, but I kind of feel when I get forceful, I'm arching my back. Something has triggered a negative emotional charge. And that could be any number of things. When I see somebody hurting, I have to hold my heart, and I feel strongly that I want to be able to do something. So even the forcefulness has a gentle component.
It's a nurturing forcefulness.
Yes, it is. It's like a gentle strength.
Yeah.
If I feel somebody who really loves me and cares about me says something that's just out of bounds, I can get forceful in my language.
Yeah.
If I feel hurt.
Yeah.
It's a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
I feel forceful and strong about dignity in caring for people. Again, that's not a physical force.
But that's what holding space is. Whatever force that would take dignity away, you are shielding the people that you're caring for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it's in my office or at the kitchen table, if my family is together and having a conversation, I will look for that space to hold some energy that's too much for somebody else to hold alone. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe what's the word? What am I putting my finger on then? So not that. I guess when I see you not being forceful, it's not being forceful in where your career goes.
Oh, you know what? When I swim, I'm forceful.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You just have to get it all out all these other places, I guess.
I do.
Yeah.
When I'm painting,
Uh-huh.
I'll make the canvas look chaotic.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit forceful, but when I swim and I'm moving my arms and I'm kicking my flippers, it's forceful.
Yeah.
I'm not just fluid no, it's with force.
Well, one thing that we can only tell, so we're side by side, we're not standing. If we were standing, we would see that you are a power package in a mini size. How tall are you?
I think I'm shrinking.
You're shrinking. How tall did you used to be?
I used to be 5 feet.
5 feet.
I'm like 4'11" and a half now.
Yeah.
And I don't feel short.
Yeah, I don't think you are, because I think that we're that strength and power that's inside of you. So maybe that's where things become forceful. If
I think when I felt short, I lacked a certain comfort and confidence in who I am, and whatever I was doing, whatever I was bringing to the world, I lacked a certain confidence. I'm pretty comfortable and confident in what I do now. That's not to say there's not tons that I can learn about and grow into being a better version of myself, but I'm little and mighty.
You are.
Yeah, that's little and mighty.
It's hard. So as we get to catch up with each other at a coffee meetup or email or phone conversations, we don't actually hardly ever get to see each other in our element unless there's a passing of a baton for a marathon birth. But I feel like I can envision it. I feel like I can envision you walking into the room and being tiny but mighty. That who's gonna mess with Seena with your you bring this ability, I think, in the spaces that you come into to bring a sense of peace and a sense of calm, but also it's clear that you have a presence about you that people know. I think they'll know that they're going to be cared for by you when you're on their side.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I think that happens.
Yeah.
I really think that happens. It's funny, just back up a little bit. when you said that we don't get to see each other in our element.
Yeah.
I hardly ever get the doulas who I know and love in the same space.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I was one door away from another doula in the co-op.
Uh-huh.
She had been there for hours. I had been there for hours. She had no chair. She had nothing to sit on. I was just waiting for the window of time to run down the hallway with the chair.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? A chair becomes so important, right?
Yeah.
You just need to sit down.
Yeah. Because if you have a chair, you can sleep. I don't know if this is a doula. We can let everybody know this. This is one of my signature moves. Is especially if the birthing person is sleeping with an epidural, the partner really needs to catch sleep.
Yes.
And they're taking up the two flat surfaces. So I've learned to get the tray, the food tray, and in front of the chair and put a pillow on it, and I can sleep. I can sleep in my own bed as a doula in that position.
I'll tell you how I sleep. Long births.
Yeah.
I use the ball.
Uh-huh.
I sit on the ball, and I need to stretch my spine. So I do like a deep forward bend in my hip crease, and I take a blanket and I put it on the corner of the hospital bed, and I surrender there.
Yes.
I sleep.
Yes.
I sleep.
Yeah.
Like you can really fall into a deep sleep.
You can.
Right?
You can. I've had some good sleeps in the hospital. Yeah. So this is all the behind the scenes for people that are watching that aren't doulas. They're like, oh, this is how it happens, but the doulas know.
Right.
So you said and I said, but we haven't given full explanation to the Philly Doula Co-op, which is how we met each other, which is a group that you're part of. Share a little bit about what it's been like, what your experience has been to be a part of that group, how that works.
It's a wonderful group. It's such an enriching group. We're like-minded, 12 women, like-minded women in that we all are on this mission to bring our love for this sacred work and to hold space for women who are birthing, for couples, and we grow together. We grow individually, kind of parallel alongside each other, but we also grow as a group. We meet every month and we talk about our work. We talk about how to grow the co-op. We work cooperatively. We back each other up.
Yeah.
You know, we're there. It's important to have a backup plan because you never know when you're going into a birth. You never know if you're going to be able to be there the whole time. What might come up? You might get sick. Any number of reasons. And to have a backup who you can really rely on and feel like I'm okay that I'm not there because I know she's there.
Yes.
That is incredible. If I didn't have that, it would be really difficult to do this work.
Yeah. Or impossible. I don't know if
it might be
I don't
impossible.
know if you could do the work without that sense of confidence.
Another thing that's so nice about working with the co-op is that invariably every time I'm at a birth, when mom is like in the bathroom or sleeping, I text one of the other doulas or a few of the other doulas about a question I have. You know, this is where we are right now. What do you think would be the best next step?
Yeah.
Or this is what I'm thinking. You think this is a great decision or just an okay decision? What do you have to say? So to have that resource and to trust that whatever you get is good advice, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Plus I have friends.
Yeah.
I've made really great friends. Another really nice thing about the co-op is that the fact that I've made some really close relationships. If I have a particularly difficult birth experience, I'll process it with another doula because I know that they will be able to understand.
Yeah.
And chances are they had a difficult experience too, and they'll be like, I had an experience just like that. Let's talk. And that's invaluable. Yeah, it's great.
I'm just going to take a peek to see, do you recognize any of these people watching? We've got some people joining us. Lots
there's a lot of people. Wow.
Refuge midwifery.
Who's that?
You know, that is that. Oh, there we go. All right, and if people can comment if they want to ask any questions to you. We've got surely plenty to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. So, speaking of that self-care, when the birth is over, when you're processing, I liked when you told me about what you do when you get home, that you actually think about what you're going to do when you get home before you can leave. So this is brilliant. I think other birth workers are going to love this plan.
It's my ritual.
And for the families that are enjoying their new baby, they're going to now be able to envision what you're doing when you tuck them in, say goodbye to them.
So, I don't know how this ritual came to me, but that's not so important. So before I leave the house, regardless of what time it is, I bring my bathrobe and a favorite large towel down to my laundry room. And it's there waiting for me. When I come home from a birth, I take all my clothes off and I put my bathrobe on and I put the big towel in the dryer. So and
the clothes go in the washer.
Clothes go in the washer. Everything comes off. Clothes go in the washer.
I don't bring my shoes in the house.
I take my shoes off and I leave them in the laundry room. And then I wash them the following day. So clothes go in the washing machine. Bathrobe is on. Towel is in the dryer. And then I take the towel out and I put the warm towel around my body. And I feel like I'm being held. Yeah. Like I'm being comforted. The heat, the warmth. It's interesting because we use heat in comfort measure. Heat is a great comfort measure. The hot water on the lower back, a hot washcloth. Then I go right upstairs. I take a hot shower and I get into bed. Yeah. And I sleep. I sleep really well. Yeah. Following day, I usually reschedule all my business commitments because I need time to process what happened. This work is very emotionally charged. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot that happens that I don't get to process or think about, and I need that time the following day to figure out like what happened. Yeah. And almost like a self-debriefing. Yeah. I also try to eat really well the following day because I don't eat well when at a birth. Right. I just don't. I drink a lot. Yeah. Those are pretty much my self-care measures. And I'll usually get in touch with a doula who I feel I can process the birth with. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a favorite post-birth meal? What's nourishing and a favorite thing to eat? Smoothie. Yeah. Yeah. Like the smoothie I just made. Yeah. Berries, oat milk. Sometimes I put almond butter. Okay. Today I put almonds. Lots of ice. I love that. Sounds good. Yeah, just like it like wakes me up. Yeah. 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 I love hearing about these rituals. When we talked with Elizabeth Weinstein, who's another really cool doula, she talks about, I don't think we talked about this in our time together, but in the blog I wrote about her, one of her post-birth rituals is to just submerge her body in water. And I love, when you think about coming home and you get that shower, you have that warmth, whatever it is, there's something about, and it is very womb-like, even getting in water. Absolutely. My massage therapist, one thing she said is that, I love when she told me, she said, every time you get in and out of water, you're being reborn. And so you kind of, you have to go through that own sort of birth experience of your own. So we have to say hi to Ray. So Refuge Midwifery is Ray. I had such a brain fart that moment and I couldn't think of her name, but that's who that is. That's letting in. She's the awesome home birth midwife in Ray Ratchlin. Yes. Ratchlin? See, I know everybody's first name and I always struggle with if I'm pronouncing their last name. She's amazing. Maybe we'll get chatting with her one of these days. I see her name on different sites and she's got great vision
Yeah.
and great insight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An awesome social media presence.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yes, always top of the
Nice.
having a fresh Facebook or Instagram story. So
Okay.
yeah, so we like having her watch. That's why you're here, because you're always on top of it. So thanks, Ray, for tuning in. Let's see, what else? We talked kind of a lot about your professional work, but what's just Seena? Whether it's who you were before you became a birth worker, or who you are when you're not a birth worker. What are some things that are just, what do you like about yourself that you are just happy with who you are and what your path has been and what your life is, and how could you impart some of that, of letting people get to know who you are separate from your dualness? You love hugs?
Love hugs. I have a lot of creative energy. I have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I need to get it out.
You have the energy of a much larger person, and it's just all trapped in it's 5 feet.
Right.
That's what it is.
Little mighty.
Yes.
So I paint.
Mm-hmm.
That's a way to express creative energy. I'm starting to write a book.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I love to write.
Uh-huh.
I write about stories that happen with people, human interest stories.
Okay.
I write for a website. It's called The Jewish Woman.
Okay.
And I have my own blog
Uh-huh.
that I write. Love to write.
Yeah. And your blog is on your part of your webpage?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. My blog is on the menu, part of my website.
Mm-hmm. We'll create a companion post to go with this.
Okay.
So everybody can go to the BABYjawn.com website, see this interview, also read about you, and click to get to your website,
Great.
your email, your phone, all those things.
Name, rank, serial number.
Yes.
I have a lot of physical energy, so I love the water.
Mm-hmm.
That is my preferred mode of movement.
Yeah.
And as gentle as I am, when I'm in the water, I'm forceful.
Yeah.
I am forceful. The way I move my arms, kick my leg, it's forceful, but I feel protected. Nobody can get to me when I'm in the water. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I have a daily meditation practice that I love so much that I can't imagine not having it.
Yeah.
Living without it.
Yeah.
It can be 5 or 10 minutes, and the anchor that it provides, it's kind of like it lifts me up, but it also anchors me.
Yeah.
So it creates more space within me to take it on.
Yeah.
Love my family.
Yeah.
When I come home, I don't want to leave my house again. Yeah. I just want to be home.
Yeah.
My kitchen is the hearth of my house. Over the years, my kids are older now, but the kids would just flock around the kitchen table, and I would cook.
Yeah. I
would make treats or whatever they wanted. My kids are older now. They're 27, 34, and 36. And I have grandkids. My grandkids are a regular part of my diet.
Yeah.
I FaceTime with them. So cute. I'm a family person.
Do you have a signature dish? Is there something that they always want mom to make?
My who?
Your kids. Do they always want you to make anything in particular for them if they come home?
Not really.
Anything?
It used to be mac and cheese or chocolate chip cookies. Those were the two when they were younger.
Yeah.
Not really. Now they have us and they cook.
Yeah.
Soup. My soups. Yes.
Yeah.
My chicken soup.
It's getting ready to be soup season.
It
finally.
is soup season already.
We had soup last night, even though it was not soup season. I'm in defiance of this 90-degree weather, and we had soup last night.
I had lentil soup the other day.
Yeah.
I was so happy to be eating soup.
Yeah.
But hot weather. There's a place, in case anybody lives near Narberth, there's a place called the Cheese Shop. And she has fresh soup every day. I think from November to maybe April.
Oh, wow.
whole foods in the soup. Healthy, delicious, great place.
So you're here. We're not going to give your exact address, because we don't want anybody showing up in your door without your consent. But we're in Ballacanoid. We'll say that. So you were saying that you cover births mostly in the Philadelphia area, not too, and sometimes into southern Jersey, but not too far.
Yeah.
Where have you been? Where have you attended the most births at? Do you think?
Pennsylvania Hospital.
Yeah.
Definitely Pennsylvania Hospital. A close second would be HUP. I love it there.
Yeah.
I love it there. I love the birth center in Bryn Mawr. I wish I was there more.
Yeah. I think we all do.
Wish
we
I
all
was there more.
Yeah.
And then the hospitals out here, Lankanaw and Bryn Mawr.
Okay, so those in particular are the easiest ones for you to
get to.
If somebody's going to hire you and they have a history of precipitous labors, Lankanaw is
Lankanaw,
pop
Bryn
right
Mawr.
over.
But Pensie's really not. It's like 12 minutes on a good day, 18 minutes on a rough day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I see going into the city as easy.
Good.
Really easy. Yeah, and West Philly, if you know the way to go, where HUP is, I know the way to go. I go through West Philly, and I'm there in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. It took me. I'm West Philly, and it took me less than 15 minutes to get here.
Right.
Tuesday. Yeah. Shout out to West Philly. See, we still don't have any questions up. I'm just going to check our time. We're in our last 5 minutes already.
We are.
It's
been 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's 12:26 already,
Wow.
so we're getting ready to wind down. Is there anything that you feel like you just want people that are, especially if they're expecting their first baby, but people going through pregnancy, people that are staring down labor and birth coming up soon, what are some encouraging words from the work that you've done that you think that you could pass on to them?
So it's quite a process. It's quite a process, and sometimes, you don't know what the process is going to look like. But to know that you will be okay.
Yeah.
You will be okay. And if you have a doula with you, you will be loved. You will be supported. You will be comforted.